if you haven't already, go on Twitter and follow at Cranky Vince on Twitter, and the other one making fun of Triple H called at Huge Wolf Dick. Quite an appropriate name in a lot of ways for Triple H. Anyways, I want to talk about one wrestler, or two wrestlers really. Everybody right now in the WWE, people always looking at or comparing this guy to this guy, or Cena plus surpass The Rock, which is one of the ones. Randy Orton being Steve Austin, which is hilarious to me. And the other one that people haven't really talked about, but I'm going to talk about it because I don't think anybody else has done this kind of video. But I want to talk about Daniel Bryan being the modern day version, or the closest thing we have to a Kurt Angle. And also, in the topic of that, can Daniel Bryan eventually surpass Kurt Angle? So, a lot of people way back had always talked about how great Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, was as a wrestler in ring-wise. And he is. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He can do everything you want in matches. And a lot of other people would make this criticism about him. And they would all be like, oh, well, he's got no personality, he doesn't know how to talk. And I never ever actually agreed with that, because I remember when he was in Ring of Honor in 2006, and he won the title and he became a heel. And when he was a heel, I felt the guy showed a lot of great heel mannerisms, a lot of great heel personality, and I actually felt on the microphone, I thought he was really good there. This wasn't another one of these guys on the independent scene that's a great in-ring worker but has bland personality. This was a guy that clearly had several things, and in my opinion, in 2006, they should have been going for him back then. I mean, Kurt Angle had just left, or had been released from WWE, and to me it was like, well, he's left, why not bring in Bryan Danielson when his deal's up? And obviously that didn't happen for a while. There was a tryout match in 2008, and it got a lot of people talking, and he eventually made his way in the company. And yet again, the same people were making the same comments, most notably Brian Fritz and those lot on Between the Ropes, about the lack of personality thing. And that's not me bashing those guys, that's me telling you that's what they would say. And I was always thinking to myself, well, I don't agree with anybody here. And everyone's like, oh, well, it's kind of touch and go, we don't know if he can cut the cat promos. And again, I'm thinking, are you people stupid? Have you not seen any of his material at all? Like, outside of the ring when he's talking? I mean, he's actually pretty solid there. He can hold his own. No, I'm not calling him the next Rock, but I am saying that Daniel Bryan can clearly hold himself on the microphone. So, we're going to fast forward now into his time in the WWE. And obviously, a lot of people make comparisons to him and Benoit. A lot, and people have been making comparisons between the two of them, and I did a video ages ago, about a year ago, discussing that, and in my opinion, I think he's better than Chris Benoit, in ring wise, and on the microphone I think he's better than him, facially I think he's better than him. I think Benoit, in my opinion, can only work one way, intense. Daniel Bryan can do a lot of different things, and I think that's why he surpasses Benoit. That's just my opinion. As time has gone on, and Daniel Bryan has been in the company longer, and he's really established himself within the company, I'm starting to, in my mind, compare him to Kurt Angle. No, he's not got the Olympic gold medal, but I mean, this great, phenomenal in-ring wrestler who can have phenomenal matches with everyone, but on the other hand, he has this personality that's just incredibly entertaining. He can make you laugh, he can make you cry, he can make you cheer for him, he can make you boo for him. He can do it all in the space of 5 minutes. He's that versatile and that good. And as he's getting more and more over, it's starting to remind me a lot of, well, not remind me, he reminds me more and more of maybe this modern day version of a Kurt Angle. And I know a lot of people prior to this would have said, well, Jack Swagger would have been that guy. But unfortunately, Jack Swagger was made to look like a complete fool and has never been relevant within the company since 2009. Dolph Ziggler is more like a Kurt Hennig, in my opinion. And he doesn't have the kind of credibility. Of course, when you win Money in the Bank, they always have to make you lose every single match and make you look stupid. But Daniel Bryan is probably the closest thing right now on that roster that they have to a Kurt Angle. And obviously I compared the in-ring work and I compared the personalities, but it looks like to me that Daniel Bryan potentially may have the ability to not just be here with Kurt Angle, but to eventually surpass him. And he has that ability. The only difference is, and the only thing that I think is going to be the drawback for him in comparison to Kurt's run, is if you compare the two environments at that time, Kurt Angle and the WWF climate, WWE climate back then was very different to what it is right now. Guys were brought up a little bit more slowly. Guys were eventually allowed to get credibility. Kurt Angle was always kind of showcased to his strengths a lot of the time. Whereas now, the roster is very thin in a lot of ways because of the way they write their show and the way that they present their wrestlers and things like that. And also, when guys get over and it's not within their control, meaning someone like Zack Ryder who got over by himself, but they didn't plan for it, you like to put the nails to you and say, right, that's it, you're done. And I think that Daniel Bryan might have those things against him. And that's nothing that he does, but I think it's stuff that the company will do. And I mean, we all saw it at WrestleMania this year. He came out, he was one of the most overperformers there. They had him get beat in 18 seconds. But in a lot of ways, that might have been, as they say, when you're handed lemons, you make lemonade. And the next night, he was the most overperformer on the show, to the point where I felt like it might be time for them to do something else with him and maybe do a double turn, because these fans don't want to boo him. He's very, very, very popular. And even now, he's still a great heel and he can get the boos. But I can just tell with the way the audience are, they really want to cheer for Daniel Bryan. And maybe Daniel Bryan, can have that face turn eventually. Maybe a feud with Randy Orton if he turns face. Daniel Bryan, that is, and turn Orton heel. Maybe some feuds with some other guys. But they need to do something with him and really build this guy as perhaps the modern day closest thing to Kurt Angle, a younger, less neck injury prone version of a Kurt Angle. And in a way, they can always benefit from that, because if they ever do get Kurt Angle back in the company, and that might happen, you never know, you've got a ready-made opponent for Kurt Angle and a ready-made match at WrestleMania. Anyways, I've said enough. I'm going to say this now. Write as many comments as you want. Write what you think and what you feel. Do you feel that Daniel Bryan could be the modern day Kurt Angle in WWE? What is going to happen though within the company that could prevent this from happening? And do you think Daniel Bryan could eventually surpass Kurt Angle? Write your comments. And also, would you love to see that match? I'm sure everyone would. Write your comments. If there's enough views and hopefully there's some video responses, I'd love to get them. Even though my channel is not that big right now. Write some comments, say what you want on here, and I also want to let everyone know I'm going to be doing another video soon. I'm going to talk about Ring of Honor and why I feel they need to evolve and my opinions of that. So I know that that's going to provoke a lot of strong reactions, so brace yourself for that one. I probably will put that video up tomorrow evening, and I'm going to be doing an MMA video because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about with MMA. So I'm going to wrap up right here, have my nice tea, and look forward to hearing what you have to say. Take care, and I will see you all in a bit.